Hey guys, how's it going? Hopefully your week is good, and hopefully last week was good for you. It's been pretty fun around here as well. Um, so last week we were talking about a couple of things. Uh, One was I talked about the contest that I had. I started a contest back on episode 10. Um, Basically because I had started a concept with the Lock Grooves logo, and I was going to have a Lock Grooves album on all my videos, an album with a Lock Groove. And then after by episode 10, I realized it was pretty unsustainable. So, and I had also at the exact same time came across an extra copy of Radiohead's new album. So I said, I'll just have a little. If somebody can figure that out and tell me what they all the first 10 episodes have in common, I'll give them a free record. So it was basically a contest. And that was, I don't know, back in September or October, and I hadn't had any guesses, so last week I just kind of revealed it. But I did have an email from one of the viewers, Crazy Praying Mantis, who said, man, I tell you, we really tried to figure this out, me and my son. We were watching all the videos, and we're really trying to figure out what the first 10 had in common. So I thought that was pretty cool, him and his son working and together and just doing a father and son activity, which I like. It's it's close to home for me. So you guys win. I've already been in contact with him, and he knows this. But like I said, Crazy Praying Mantis, you and your son are going to get 2 records. First one, well, the main one is Moon-Shaped Pool by Radiohead. It's the black vinyl, not the white vinyl. That's why I got 2 copies, is because they sent me black first, and then they were going to send me white, and they sent me black again. And this other one that I had mentioned, called Simon Space Time. It was supposed to be pretty psychedelic, but it just didn't do it for me. So you get 2 records. So congratulations to you and your son. Thanks for trying to figure that out, and congratulations. Now, as you can see, I'm not playing anything right now, but I had been playing Can today when I got home from work, because I found out that their drummer died, Jackie Liebezeit, and I didn't listen to him all week, so I'm not going to talk about him, but I'm just going to mention it. That's my favorite Can album right there, Future Days. And maybe next week I'll bring out some more of my Can albums and we can talk about it. But everybody's doing little tributes to him. I've seen several videos already where he's been mentioned. But a person who did die last week that didn't get a whole lot of mention. I did find out about his death through the vinyl community, but that was one little blurb. It was like, rest in peace. And that is William Onyeabor. Been a fan of his ever since I figured out who he was. I think we all kind of discovered him about the same time, and it's when this album came out. This is a compilation album. It's a triple album of his music, and if you haven't heard of his story, it's a great one. It's an amazing story. William Onyeabor was a businessman in Nigeria. I don't know what all businesses he had, but bottom line was he had money, and he was really interested in electronics. And he decided he was going to get a bunch of synthesizers and make some electronic music. I think he made 7 or 9 albums altogether. I can't remember the exact number. But, so this music, it's electronic, it's very danceable, great grooves, it's psychedelic, it has that going for it. It's poppy, so like the kids and everybody can dance to it. It's really good. We didn't hear about him in the West here until about the early 2000s. Now, I didn't hear about him until about 2-3 years ago. But there was some DJs I guess they were, I don't know where they were, New York or someplace. They were looking for some African records, and they came across William Onyeabor. I think they were trying to put together a compilation for Nigeria 70, if you've heard of that album. And some of the bigwigs heard it, David Byrne and his record company, I can't remember, and they were like, that's it, man, this guy is fantastic, we got to find out more about him. So they wanted to put out all of his records, or reissue his records, and put out a compilation, and that compilation ended up being Who is William Onyeabor? And it took them a long time to hunt him down, and so they can get rights to issue his music out. They had to go to Nigeria, and there was a lot of people that kind of knew of him, but were afraid to talk to anybody, especially on camera. There is a film, by the way, it's called Fantastic Man. It's about a 30-minute film. It's on YouTube. I highly recommend you watch it. Fantastic Man. But they the people that they interviewed, like for this movie, they kind of didn't want to talk about him. I guess apparently locally he was kind of known as a bully. But, you know, you never know. I don't think he did anything too bad. He just, sometimes when you're higher up, maybe you come across bad. I don't know. I'm not going to defend him. But he made this amazing music in the 70s in Nigeria, and it was crate diggers like us that found him. They found this guy, and so anyway, if you get a chance, Google him or YouTube him, listen to some of his music, and hopefully you'll fall in love with it like we did. I listen to him all the time, so I listened to the whole album, this whole album today in the car. I found out that he died yesterday. I think he died about a week ago. So anyway, rest in peace, William Onyeabor. Now last week also, I kind of went on a little rant about the Flaming Lips. I wanted their album, but I thought the price point was too high. It was a double album with a purple and a orange album with a gatefold. They wanted $40 for it. To me, that's too high, so I wasn't going to buy it. And the day it was released, they also revealed that there was another one. It was a black copy for about $20, so I bought that from Amoeba, got a discount, free shipping, so it was like $16 and some change. However, the Bluebird of Happiness that normally comes by and craps on my house every week must have missed, because I got the deluxe edition. I didn't get the black one. I got what I really wanted. I just didn't have to pay $40 for it. So it's got a really cool gatefold. See, there's a person with their mouth open and maybe dropping Skittles or some type of rainbow liquid into their mouth. I guess you can be creative and guess what that is. Here is the purple. I mean, it's really a beautiful set. And then here's the orange. And also with that, either somebody at Amoeba hooked me up, or I got the wrong order. And if I got the wrong order, I'm sorry. But if you hooked me up, thanks. I also got Flaming Lips version of David Bowie Space Oddity with this as well. And, of course, green vinyl. Which is really cool. This was unexpected. So, it made my week last week. I guess I should talk about the music, too. The music is great. It's like the Flaming Lips, kind of like, not quite how they used to be in their heyday, but they're back to doing songs, and kind of fun songs. Let me see, read some of these lyrics, or the titles for you. Like titles like, One night while hunting for fairies and witches and wizards to kill. That's just the name of a song. Another one, Listening to the Frogs with Demon Eyes. So, Galaxy One Sync is good, Sunrise is good, Oxy Melody, they're all really good. So they're back into proper form, in my opinion. For some people, they never went away. For some people, they quit listening to them when Miley Cyrus got involved with them. Personally, I think Miley Cyrus, I don't buy her albums, I don't dig it, but I think she's cool. Anybody who hangs out with the flaming lips, come on. So, she is on this album as well. Let's see here. So let's just get into the meat of what we listened to this week. I bought this album maybe about 6 or 7 months ago, and it was on a VC Members Discogs page. And I don't know, he advertised his page, so I went on there and bought a couple of things, and I found this. The band's called Dark. The album does not have any title, and it was under the Jazz Fusion label. It just said, this was Jazz Fusion, so I figured it's Dark Jazz Fusion, so I took a chance on it. And it is really good. It is very psychedelic, almost to the point where it's overflowing beautifully with psychedelic music and a little bit of jazz. There's some Middle Eastern chorus. There's a girl on here, they call her The Voice, and she does like some Middle Eastern, I don't want to call it chants, but some singing. I don't know what it is, but basically uses her voice as an instrument, which I totally dig. There's some spoken word pieces where she tells a poem or tells a little story behind all this great music that's going on. Highly recommended if you've never heard of this band. They're just called Dark. And they're hard to find stuff on. I think they did one more album. This came out in '86, so the mid-'80s. So at least the '80s did produce something good. And the guy who sold it included some artwork. He said, hey man, I'm kind of an artist, so here's a piece of art for you, which I appreciate. I can't remember his name, but it's cool psychedelic work. I always keep it in here, so I'll always remember that guy, but I still don't remember his name. Another album that I listened to is a band called The North, and the album is called Glaciers. It's from Capshaw Records. I always listen to, I get on Bandcamp and I listen to songs before I buy them because I want to make sure that I like them. And I love this. I mean, there's 2 songs, 1 song per side, and I guess you can not call them songs. You could call them experiences, because that's kind of what they are. When you listen to them, don't expect, any type of great prog masterpiece. Just let your mind go and let the sounds come and just wash over you. It's if you let it take you over, these songs are great. This band is great. It's like a very chunky ambient, where you take an ambient album and haven't swirled it all together, and there's still big chunky pieces of noise that come flying at you here and there every so often. Highly recommended, The North. Go to their Bandcamp page and check out some of the songs or the 2 experiences. See what you think. We like space rock around here, so anything weird, it definitely gets my approval, and that is a good piece. From 1970, Joe Bauer, Moonset. Joe Bauer was the drummer for the Youngbloods, and I think this is his only solo album. He died in the early 80s. I think it was a brain tumor. But this was like 70 or 71, early 70s, and it has that vibe. There's no singing. There might be some little, vocals for instrument type stuff going on, but it's just basically a bunch of instrumental songs. Some of the guitar sounds like Jerry Garcia, New Linorana, some of his jams. Think of A Long Dark Star. So some of when he really gets mellow when he's playing, you get that vibe. There's the jazz piano that kind of comes in and out with nice flourishes. They're all instrumental. There's some animal sounds, frog sounds. It's a good album. I don't think that it's essential, but if you can pick it up for a couple of dollars and you're into that type of stuff, I would buy it. I actually listened to it quite a bit. So, keeping up with the 60s and early 70s vibe, I have a comedy album from Joey Foreman, and it's called The Masha Gunashi Yogi. Came out in 1968. Joey Foreman was a straight stand-up comedian. He wasn't part of the counterculture. He was in like sitcoms and maybe a couple of movies or something in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But he created this character called the Mahashiganashi Yogi. And they made one album. I think he reprised his character in concert a few times. And basically what it is it's a mock press conference at an airport with a yogi. So the yogi arrives from India to the United States, and he's there at the airport, and there's a press, and they're asking him questions. And basically, all of his answers are jokes, you know, and it has to do with that time, you know, the Indian culture fascination that we had at that time, and the yogis and all the transcendental meditation that was going on. I found this at didn't know it existed, maybe about 2 years ago at a flea market. No, let's call it flea market. It was sealed, 1968, for $3. So I thought, you know, if I don't dig what's on here, at least I can smell what 1968 smells like. You know, that's worth $3. So I busted the seal and smelled it, and it smelled exactly what I thought it would. Just kind of old, dusty paper. But the album is good, so I recommend it. If you can find it for a couple of bucks. You know, once again, it's not really essential, but it's a nice artifact of the 60s, you know. It was something that was going on. Now, I've talked about these guys before, and they've got a few albums out. Kikagaku Moyo, and maybe I butchered the name, but the album is called Forest of Lost Children. And this is a burner. It is really, really good. It's mostly instrumental, and they have a sitar that is equally up front as the electric guitar, and they're just trading licks back and forth, intertwining, and it's just really a great sound. And if you like space rock, krautrock, you would love this album. So you might want to give these guys a look up and see what they sound like. The United States of America. Now, this is a legendary album, and for good reason. This was very experimental for the time, probably one of the more psychedelic albums. You know, everything was psychedelic, but when you listen to it now, it doesn't sound that psychedelic compared to the stuff today. This is pretty psychedelic, so if you were into that type of experimental music, you would have really enjoyed this. I mean, you would not have been let down at all. But it's not an abrasive experimentation at all. I mean, it's experimental music, but it's not that really abrasive where there's clanging on cans and this and that, and you can't get into it. It's like slipping into a dream. And, you know, they connect a bunch of songs that they've already sang together, so you're going in and out. And she has a Dorothy, the lead singer here, one of the lead singers, is Dorothy Moskowitz. She's got a very sweet voice, a very sweet 60s voice. And it works really well. If you like it, once again, if you like the experimentation of the 60s, psychedelic music, you will not be disappointed. There's a reason why this is on a lot of top 100 albums of all times or top psychedelic albums, because it's really that good. Oh, let's go back to the 70s again. Let's stay in that time period. Paul Kantner, Blows Against the Empire. As you can see here, it says Paul Kantner and Jefferson Starship. This was the first time that the Jefferson Starship moniker had been used. And I think what he was thinking when he said Starship was a couple of things. It's got tons of guest appearances from all types of stars, and it's a concept album about a group of hippies that embraced their counterculture beliefs and basically wanted to go and find their own Eden so they could live the way they wanted to without being ridiculed by, I guess, straight people. I don't know. But it's a good album. It works. There's some really nice pieces in here. The problem that I've always had with the Jefferson Airplane and Starship is the singing, Grace Slick and Paul Kampner and Marty Ballins, they tend to sing over each other and in sync, and it's not a real pleasant experience. The music is fantastic. Cool gatefold, and it came with a booklet. Is a booklet in here? Yeah, it came with a booklet. I don't know where it is. I had it a few minutes ago. But if I find it before the video is over, I will show it to you. Well, it's almost over. So, last but not least, I got this in the mail this week. And it's a band called Geobia, introducing Night Sound. And it's really good. It's good space rock. It does have a singer in it, which I usually don't care, but the singer he sings lyrics to songs, but his voice still sounds like an instrument. It still works. There's a couple of points I don't really care for, a song or two, but other than that, this is a great album. It's on the Sulatron label, and look at that artwork. Kind of mind-blowing and trippy. One of my favorite artists, Lulu Noidek, did this. She does a lot of the art for the Sulatron label. And she's also a bass player for a band called the Electric Moon, so and she's amazing. So if you have a band, she's actually for hire. She'll do your logo or album cover. But that is it for the week, folks. I hope you have a good week. And happy listening, and we'll see you next time around.